Hey, Salvador Briggman here. Welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified YouTube channel. And today I'm going rapid fire through 17 crowdfunding tips that I have for you in order to supercharge your Kickstarter campaign, your Indiegogo campaign, or even if you're doing a nonprofit fundraiser. We're getting into all of that today. So I'm literally just gonna go through these rapid fire style. Make sure you take notes. I'm gonna try to go through as much as possible that's gonna be helpful for you leading up to a Kickstarter, Indiegogo campaign, or an equity crowdfunding campaign, nonprofit crowdfunding campaign. This really goes across the board of the tips that I'm gonna be sharing with you. Tip number one is create a video. Based on statistics, I'd say it's at least 3 times as likely for someone to be interested in your campaign if you have a campaign video. You can go and look in the stats in Indiegogo and Kickstarter, you can see what they say, but in general, all videos, all campaigns have a video nowadays. It makes your pitch so much more compelling, and it's a lot easier to emotionally affect potential backers when you have a video. Number 2, no matter what platform you're using, include photos and images in your actual campaign text, and here is why. The human eye is designed to look at photos and video and real world things. It takes us work and effort to actually read things. I know that's crazy because I love writing, right? I love writing books and stuff, but it's true. So always make sure you include photos and images in your campaign text for any type of campaign, because that's what people's eyes are going to initially be gravitated towards. Number 3, always have a reason that people should back now. Now that could be early bird reward tiers on Kickstarter, Indiegogo. That could be the fact that you need this funding now. You need to come up with a reason why people need to take action now, because we are all so lazy in this society. I am lazy myself. Unless I have a really good reason, it's not going to go to the top of my to-do list. You want your campaign to go to the top of other people's to-do lists in their mind, so they're thinking about it throughout the day, they take action, have a reason why they should take action now. Number 4, always research. And not that goes beyond just like watching YouTube videos like this, but also reading books and that kind of stuff, listening to podcasts. I have a great podcast out there, but as well, looking at similar Kickstarter campaigns and Indiegogo campaigns and nonprofit campaigns that are out there. Look at other ones that you want to draw inspiration from. Before I ever bring on a client, I always ask them, what are some of the campaigns that you draw inspirations from? So as well, I can also set my expectations as well. Make sure you research. You can also go on kickstarterforum.org. You can see a bunch of other people there. Make sure you research. Number 5, take the time to join other communities out there, because that allows you to see what other people are doing, and it really raises the bar in terms of caliber, right? So you can join kickstarterforum.org, which is my own forum. You can also join my Facebook group if you want to. There are so many different groups out there nowadays when it comes to crowdfunding. Mine are more specific to my material and my way of thinking. So join a couple of groups so you can also participate and get to know other business owners in the niche. Number 6, have an internal and an external goal. I know this sounds a little bit strange, but what I mean by that, I mean, have an external goal, something that people see, right, when they're coming to the actual campaign. Like for example, so you're trying to raise $20,000, right? It's always good to have an external goal. You have to, but at the same time, you should have an internal goal. How much do you really want to raise? Are you going to have stretch goals? Are you going to have things that people unlock? What is the real amount that you're trying to raise? Communicate with your campaign manager or your coach, someone like me, about this. You can set a good goal. Number 7, give a lot of thought to the duration in which you want to raise funds, because duration can be great. It's a double-edged sword with some categories, and this is so important that Kickstarter varies depending on the categories that you go into. With some categories, I recommend a 30-day duration or even shorter. Other categories, I recommend a 45-day duration. It depends on your specific project, how much urgency you want to create, whether or not you have your ducks in a row, so many different things. Really lend a lot of thought to what the duration of your project is and how that's going to affect your marketing. Number 8, do a pre-launch. This is so important no matter what campaign category you're going through. A pre-launch is designed to do a little bit of marketing, testing, and validation leading up to the campaign, getting a sense of good headlines, etc., but also building up your tribe before you go live so that you get funded almost instantly. Number 9, show people using the product. And this is kind of across the board with your marketing. Now, a lot of people will just take a snapshot of a product and like show that and be like, do you want this, right? But a better approach is to actually have a little bit of action in that photo. So maybe someone's using it in a certain environment. Maybe they're using it in a certain way. Maybe they're interacting with another person, and it's a photo sort of snapshot of that and displays some of the characteristics of the product. You always, if possible, want to have human beings in your marketing and your photos, because we're naturally going to designed to look at other human beings, and we're gonna think about it, oh, if this person like me, who looks like me, is using the product this way, I can imagine it in my life. Number 10, when you do not have access to someone, the easiest way to get someone to buy a product is to get them to imagine owning it. What do I mean by that? I mean, if you get someone to actually think about using this product in their life, how they would use it, where they would use it, what problems they would use to solve it, they are going to virtually have a mental movie in their head of owning and using this thing. And if it's a positive mental movie, they're going to start to feel good about it. For example, if you go out and you buy a car, before you buy the car, you imagine yourself driving it. You even do a test drive. That night you think about how cool it would be to have this car and driving it down and the reactions you would get. You start to imagine. And when you have a customer that begins to imagine using your product, you are getting closer and closer to actually selling them, because eventually they're gonna be like, they sold themselves. They're like, this is a no-brainer, right? And they might need to see a little bit of logistical questions and get some ideas on specs, but the emotional side of their brain is gonna be like, I want to own this. I can't tell you, whenever I bought a watch, I've looked at that watch on Instagram, I've thought about it, I've imagined it, I've been like, you know what, this would look so good, right? With my tattoos and that kind of stuff. I think about it, and the more and more it occupies my mind, the closer I am to actually making that buying decision. This YouTube video is sponsored by The Gadget Flow. The Gadget Flow reaches over 28 million people, and they've been around since 2012. They're Indiegogo and Kickstarter experts. They featured over 5,000 crowdfunding campaigns. If you have a tech or design campaign, it is a great platform to generate awareness and get backers. Check them out at thegadgetflow.com/submit and list your project today. Number 11, speed up time. The only way to speed up time is either to spend money, right? Or to really hunker down and learn lots of things and not reinvent the wheel, right? So if I came to you and the wheel had like not been an invention, I was like, can you make this block move down the road? You'd be like, how am I gonna do that, right? I could slide it, I could put it on like rails maybe. Not a lot of people would actually think about the wheel until the actual wheel came into invention. Why would you reinvent the wheel? Other people already have the solutions to a lot of the problems that you're experiencing in life. And it goes beyond, obviously, crowdfunding. Why not just read about them and then implement them? That's what this whole channel is about. It's to teach you already existing solutions to common problems that you have when it comes to crowdfunding. So don't reinvent the wheel. The fastest way to see progress is to learn and then implement. The second fastest way is to bring on someone on your team who already has experience with what it is that you're doing. Which is gonna be faster if you're trying to set up a company? Would it be to figure out the whole legal side of things, to read about it, and to kind of get like a mini JD, right? And then set up a company? Or you hire a lawyer and you pay him maybe like $400 and he sets it up for you, right? It's so much faster when you bring people on the team that already possess skill sets, knowledge, and know-how. And that's why I also do coaching calls with my audience, because it's of tremendous value to them. Number 12, think about logistics, man, because marketing and sales is great and awesome. And what I focus on a lot is getting people to take action. But at the same time, if you don't deliver on your promises, people are gonna think you're BS. It's a horrible way to build a brand, right? Your brand is built off of relationships and experiences. So the more that people can have good experiences with your brand, with your company, the more they're gonna like it, they're gonna buy from you again. So think a lot about logistics. Where are you getting the product manufactured? Where are the materials coming from? How are you getting this sent to the United States or wherever your location is? Will you have a fulfillment company like Fulfillrite, which is one of the sponsors of the YouTube video, and they have a great checklist going through free shipping, advice, and tips for you, specifically for Kickstarter as well. Will you get a fulfillment company? Will you be doing fulfillment in your garage or in your house, right? Think a little bit about the logistics, because at the end of the day, that impacts your costs, and that also determines, will you be able to make good on your promises? Number 13, sell with emotion, but back it up with logic. And here's why. What is emotion? Emotion is promises, emotion is benefits, emotion is, this thing looks so cool, it's so well designed, it makes me want it, right? And that's kind of like an emotional high almost, is buying products is really fun. People love to buy products. People love to be consumers because it's enjoyable, it's fun. But if you, the person, don't back up your offers when it comes to your Kickstarter, Indiegogo, nonprofit fundraiser, whatever, with logical justification in the way of specs, in the way of testimonials, credibility, etc., someone is gonna think your promises are too good to be true. true, right? It's gonna think it's almost too good to be true, and they're not gonna take action. So logical justification is actually what allows someone to make a buying purchase and to feel good about it, and also to explain it to their significant other once they ask, why did you just spend $400 on this cooler, right? They can at least explain it when you give them logical justification, and that is so freaking important. Number 14, make the most of this event. Think of crowdfunding as a business boot camp, right? Where you're compressing a ton of stuff into a very short span of time. And because this is a boot camp, you wanna really give it your all. So don't just go give it your all in terms of working, but also make this a marketing opportunity for you really to create a brand around this, to do PR outreach, to do things like reach out to influencers. Make this the opportunity for you where you're gonna take this idea you've been having in your head that you've been kind of thinking about for the last year or 2 years and really make this reality. Have customers, have validation, have real people out there that are buying it, that are giving you feedback, and that's the foundation of an entire new company. Number 15, do validation before you go live. Make sure you know that people want to own this thing. It's so easy. I mean, you do this mainly during the testing phase, during the pre-launch, right? I have another great video out there on the pre-launch, but you should do this. You should go through different mechanisms and ways of determining qualitative and quantitative feedback from your potential audience. And there's so many ways to talk about this. I'll just throw out one simple example, doing a survey, right? There's so many easy ways to be able to have some pre-market validation so you actually feel good going into your upcoming campaign and you're like, this thing is actually gonna knock it out of the park based on all of the feedback we're getting, not only qualitative, but also quantitative. Like, this thing is gonna be amazing. Number 16, tell a story. Now, when I say tell a story, I'm not just saying like with your pitch video or something like that. I'm talking about across all of your social media, across all of your marketing. Your product plays a role in someone's life, right? And one of the product ideas I use a lot as an example is like a backpack, right? Because there are so many of them on Kickstarter. A backpack, or we'll just say a watch, right? Where does the watch go with you? The watch goes with you when you're going to the gym, maybe. Maybe the watch goes with you when you're going on a date. Maybe the watch goes with you after the date when you have your second date, right? Maybe the watch goes with you when you have your 1-year anniversary. Maybe the watch goes with you when you finally get married to that person. Maybe the watch goes with you when you finally have kids with that person, and when you're older, eventually you hand the watch down to your grandkid, or you hand your watch down to your son, right? That's a story. And that's a way that this little product fits into the story of your life. And you'll notice that really successful advertisements do this extremely well because it works, right? So always be telling a story. And typically that story is almost like not only the story of the product, but the story of the person who is using it, right? So if we were to like think about stories, you know, a good one would be like a lightsaber, right? A lightsaber is a Jedi's weapon. It's a weapon that people can use to defend the world from evil. And it's put into the hands of a Jedi, and they use it under moments of extreme stress, right? That's a story of when does this person use it? How does it fit into their life? Who is it given by? It's given by their mentor, right? Obi-Wan Kenobi. Think about the story, and that's gonna make you actually wanna own a lightsaber, not just because it looks freaking cool, because you feel like a Jedi when you're owning it. I'm just gonna give you 2 quick more ones because we're going through a lot. So I'm just gonna give you 2 more. Okay, so 2 more would be, one is make sure you build a team around you, because you are gonna get tired, you're gonna get exhausted, it's gonna be hard for you to run a campaign from A to Z, and it is for anyone, honestly. So build a team around you. It doesn't have to be like full-time people, but it will pay for you to have a crowdfunding street team. And the last one is, don't be afraid to promote yourself. Don't be afraid to brand yourself and to really put yourself out there. You know, I think this is something that everyone fears. Like when I made my first YouTube video, I was so scared, man. I didn't want to put myself out there. I was afraid I was going to get so many hate comments and lots of criticism, etc. But who cares? You know, it doesn't really matter. As long as some people in my audience find videos that I create to be helpful, I am happy. And the same approach you should take with your products. As long as you're making other people's lives better, it's worth it. You owe it to yourself, and more importantly, you owe it to your future customers to do a good job. So don't be afraid of putting yourself out there. Hope you enjoyed this YouTube video. I actually might have gone a little bit over. I think I maybe did 17 or 18. It was hard to keep track when I was doing this. But I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below if you did. Give me a thumbs up. Come subscribe to this channel if you want more content like this. You can book a one-on-one coaching call with me if you want to in the link down below, crowdcrux.com/coaching, as well as I got a great podcast out there. You can listen to those on Fridays on this channel. I also do a lot of stuff. I have books out there. I've written 10 books. One of the better ones when it comes to you is the Kickstarter launch formula. Got also ones on nonprofit crowdfunding, etc. So go and dive into the description there. A lot of good action items. But thank you so much for listening. My name is Sal, and I will see you next time.